Welcome to a very special Jalen and Jacoby. Jalen,
We got to give the people.
we
Give the people what they want.
We are joined today by Bill Simmons' beard.
Yes! The
Thank you.
BS report
Very
is in the building.
Very special episode. We're happy to have Bill's beard here. We're also joined by Bill. We couldn't have one without the other.
I haven't shaved since the ESPYs.
I like
Shaved
your
my
beard.
neck.
What did you say when you first
Figured
walked
he'd
in,
like it.
Jay?
I knew he'd be excited.
His beard is awesome. I'm the only 41-year-old man that I know that can't grow anything. Literally. I was at the barbershop yesterday, saw Catino Mobley. He's rocking a beard just like yours.
Oh.
I told him the exact same thing. So to see you today with your beard, I'm jealous, sir.
That's weird because we're both fighting over Steve Francis right now.
Don't get fired. I just have to make the statement. Now that we have you guys here, let's just make sure we're not getting fired. Team USA basketball is in full swing.
I haven't watched a minute.
That's what I was about to get to. Is I love basketball. I love the NBA. I love watching great basketball players play basketball. I get bored when I watch these games.
I actually have watched every game.
And so have I.
I went to the Brazil game in Chicago.
Oh.
I'll be in Spain on the 9th through the 15th, and I plan to see the USA
You're going
play
to
against
Spain?
Spain.
I knew that you wouldn't answer the question. Do you get kind of bored? Are you entertained when you watch these
I
games?
don't. One game, we were trailing at the half.
Slovenia by
One
5
game
at
we
the
were
half.
trailing.
No, we were trailing
Turkey,
Turkey.
that's right. Yeah.
Yes, and one game we were trailing at the end of the first quarter.
Joe House sent me a panic text about that Turkey game.
Never worried.
We should be the favorite, but it's definitely not a foregone conclusion that we're going to win the gold.
Can we get back to Jalen going to Spain? Are you going for work?
I'm going with the NBA. You don't check your voicemail. I left you my whole
It's
schedule.
2014, man. It's 2014. Like, let's be honest. No one leaves or listens to
you're going to
voicemail.
Spain?
Oh, really?
Yeah, I don't
Yeah,
listen to
nobody does
voicemail.
that.
You know what's funny? I have a 14-year-old daughter. Told me the exact same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I always forget to listen to my voice.
No
You're
one
going
listens to
Spain.
Yes.
I think we're going to lose to Spain by 12 points.
I think we're going to lose Jalen Rose to Spain.
Jalen Rose Gasol.
Yeah, exactly. He's going to be coaching the team next week. Like, what? Speaking Spanish?
We're just in no man's land with this team. Like, at this point, I would have rather have just had a 23 and under team. Instead, they have this team that, like, Anthony Davis is the best player. I know that wasn't the intention, but Anthony Davis, Curry. But then you have, like Drummond's going to play in Spain with the 20,000 Spanish fans screaming. He's going to be guarding Marc Gasol. Boogie's going to play in that game. Like, we have no chance in that game.
Would you say no chance against Spain?
I think the chance would be...
I'll go 20 push-ups pro
Yeah, no
USA.
chance was
No
those
problem. No chance.
I think the chance would be like Steph Curry gets hot and Klay Thompson gets hot, and we beat them with threes. But I think if those two teams play 10 times in Spain, I think Spain wins 6, 7.
I disagree.
Spain is a terrific team. I agree with you. Serge Ibaka, physical presence, a little bit bigger than Fareed,
Both Gasols.
a lot bigger than Rudy Gay. When they're guarding those guys, when he's being guarded by one of those guys, that's an accident.
Boogie.
Yeah.
The Gasol brothers play facing the basket, to your point, 15, 17-footers, and they both post.
They can do either.
Absolutely.
And they go high-low, which we couldn't stop in the Olympics with our best guys.
Yes,
And then Marc Gasol got in foul trouble.
And look at their roster on the perimeter. Ricky Rubio's probably their third or fourth best guard. Okay, they have Rudy Fernandez, who's a knockdown shooter in the league.
And then you get to the
for
Jose
years.
Calderon.
Jose Calderon, who now is going to play with the Knicks.
Not concerned. Anyway, about
And then
that.
Zach made this point that Spain's weakness would be defending the Kevin Durant, Paul George, any small forwards with height, physical guys who can play inside out, because they have undersized perimeter guys. We don't have anybody left like that in the roster except Rudy Gay.
Yes.
If you think Rudy Gay is beating Spain in Spain, I wish you a lot of luck.
I think the USA is beating Spain in Spain. And
Let's
I think
bet
if they
dinner.
played, I know. I want to go 20 push-ups on camera.
I'll bet dinner.
Oh, well, I'm it's my country. That just happened.
What a surprise!
I want to root for my country. Why did I do that?
You're rooting for them so much you haven't watched any of the games.
Well, I was away. I didn't have cable. I would love the Turkey game. Who was on the Turkey team?
It was just a random mix
They
of
said-
players.
I watched
they
some
said
of the New Zealand. I mean, New Zealand was like, you would have been the second best player in New Zealand.
What did
right now.
everybody talk about after the New Zealand game?
What? The guy's beard?
the haka dance. Like, that was the thing. Like, the games aren't that interesting.
That was awesome.
You know what I mean? It's just like, all right, like, I'm watching them, and I just find myself looking at my phone. I find myself, like, doing the dishes or whatever.
Mark my words. I'm going to tell you who's going to be the difference in the USA winning a gold medal. This player is going to be the reason.
Can I guess before you?
Sure.
I can't guess. Who is it?
Give me a second.
Derrick Rose.
Oh, shooting 25%?
25%. He's 8 for 32 so far. And
Correct.
he has not looked great. Weird passes.
But when you watch the games, you ain't watch the games.
I watch the
You ain't
games.
watch none
I
of
watch
them
the
either.
games.
It's the lineups that they're using him with. I think when they play against a better team, he's going to be out there with different lineups that's going to put him in position to take advantage of his matchup. Because he's still blowing up the floor, making plays. He just really doesn't have the spacing, and the backups really don't have the cohesion, I think, that the starting team has.
Exercise. Ready? We're down 5 in Spain. They just hit a 3. Crowd's going nuts. There's 6 minutes left. K calls timeout. What 5 guys walk out after the timeout? Who are the 5?
If I'm coaching, it would be Derrick Rose, Klay Thompson, James Harden, Boogie! I know.
And Davis?
And Davis.
So
Wait,
Curry's not playing. You don't have Curry out there.
I know I don't.
Let me just say, I've watching this thing and watching Kenneth Faried day after day after day.
He's not playing with
It's
6 minutes
just
left.
like he's played so well in this. I've watched the games. I think he's shooting 80%. He's 34 for 43.
Energy guy against inferior teams. You can't play him in that Spain game in crunch
all right.
time. Because the other thing is they won't guard him.
Run, jump, layup, and dunk. Smart bigs for Spain are going to box him out. They're going to space him. He's not a shooter. He is a great energy player, but they're not going to allow him just to.
See, my fear is that they're going to go small. They're going to play Curry and Rose together. They're going to play Klay Thompson. They're going to have Harden, and they're going to have Anthony Davis. And they're going to say, we're going to beat Spain by going small. I don't think they're going to be able to.
There are certain players that are what I consider rhythm scorers.
Yeah.
Curry's one, Kyrie's one. That's why when you watch them play, there are a lot of times they'll just come down and shoot the ball without passing that at all because they're feeling the rhythm and they're used to playing like that with their teams. That doesn't necessarily flow well, A, in a close game when you come out of the huddle down 5, and B, with the flow of the rest of the team. That's why I didn't have neither one of them out there.
Jacobs, I don't know if Curry and Harden can play together in crunch time in that Spain game if we're down 5. I think at that point, K has to pick between those two guys.
I'm picking James Harden, and I'll tell you why. When you watch James Harden in the NBA, when you watch James Harden internationally, and when you watch James Harden at the Drew League, he does the same thing. He's got to be the most frustrating person to play against. He just drives and gets fouls and goes on the line. That's it. You know what I mean? And in crunch time, when you're behind, and you stop the clock and you score points,
You're
that's
in
good.
Spain, though. You're not getting those calls.
You're getting, but you are.
not getting any of those
he
calls.
gets fouled. He's going to the line. I'm telling you, you want to score.
I'm worried about that game. If we had Durant, I wouldn't be worried, but
I'm not.
Derrick Rose, James Harden going to be the differences on the perimeter. Anthony Davis inside.
Yeah.
Well, now I can't lose because if we win, then my country won, and if we lose, and I'm down like 4 dinners to you still.
This is one of those. I had one of those. I want to ask Jalen this moment. When Kyrie goes down with the tailbone with 132 left against the Ukraine, what does LeBron James say to his television?
Get up. Because I was watching the game as it happened, and if you've played basketball, you've done that fall.
Yeah, it hurts.
And it hurts. But it's not an injury.
Yeah, even a broken tailbone isn't like a season ender. Yeah.
It just hurts, but it's not. Just fight it.
Yeah. So it was the end of the game. He goes to the tunnel. He goes to the locker room. If it was the first quarter, I think he would have been back out there.
Did you ask Jalen what his thoughts were on PG changing his uniform to PG-13?
Good job.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Good job.
Congratulations, Bill.
Good job.
Congratulations. You've changed the NBA forever.
Thank you. And he
On
immediately
Jimmy
got hurt.
Kimmel.
And you immediately got hurt.
Yeah, you've changed the NBA forever.
Long term, it'll be good for him.
It will be.
Has anyone blamed you for that yet? You got any emails?
I'm surprised. Not really.
They will now. Now that we connected the
maybe
dots.
now. They will.
Adam Silver had something interesting to say. It was kind of a sneaky big news story this week. He said that legalized gambling, the expansion of legalized gambling in the U.S. is inevitable, and the NBA, quote unquote, will participate. Bill, if gambling were legal, you would probably do a lot of gambling.
I'm on record already. I think by 2020, sports gambling and marijuana will be legal in every state in this country.
So you're saying like the same way I can go to the donut shop and buy a scratch ticket.
Yes.
I could go to the donut shop and
do it in London now. If you go to London, they have the William Hill. You go to any corner and they have
It's
that.
like OTB in New York. Like New York, like you could bet on the horses. Then the OTBs were every 15 blocks.
Just make a rule that you make a rule in the NBA Constitution. If an NBA player is even seen in one of those places, they're suspended for 3 months without pay.
We're becoming more progressive. For the youngsters out there, I remember the late 80s when you could be on an airplane and smoke a cigarette. Mm-hmm. Now, if somebody thought about doing that, it'd be like, oh my goodness, it's the worst thing ever. And
you had teammates that smoked cigarettes at halftime.
Correct. And so I agree with you. It's going to be a fluid situation. Adam Silver seems to be a progressive leader of the NBA. I like the changes that he's came in and made already. Moving the stanchion back.
Yep,
we talked about that.
You have to.
Okay.
Getting rid of racist owners.
Yes, the finals format, how it's changed.
Yep.
That had an influence on who won the championship this year.
So he had another statement,
did.
another sneaky thing. He said he would consider 10 a.m. tip-offs for the Chinese market.
Keep getting them checks.
I like it. I like it.
I mean, Jalen always has the jokes about the 12 o'clock and the 12:30 game.
The home team is going to win by 20.
Every single time. And if here's what happened. He was like, if gambling's legal, okay, and then I can change the schedule to guarantee the home team
You know, it'd be
wins.
funny if they did 10 a.m. starts, but the home games were only in Oklahoma City and Indiana.
Yeah.
The two places the road teams are going to get in trouble.
Right? Get a good night's sleep.
Yeah.
I'm sure Jalen can get in trouble in Indiana. I'm sure he could.
Cocktail Cole.
I think that if they didn't do this, they'll have some sort of limit. Just like I went to a casino in Kansas City, and you can only like lose $500 every 5 hours or whatever. They'll do something like that.
What? How do they even keep track of that?
They do, man. They like you give a card or something. I went
Did you
there.
tell them about Cleveland?
No,
The casino in Cleveland? You been in that casino?
I have not.
it's new.
You have
New-
to pay
new
for your
casino.
drinks. Nobody's allowed to smoke cigarettes, and you can't join a shoot mid-hand.
Jalen,
I'll keep my money in my pocket.
Jalen, you'll never
You
believe
can't join the
this.
shoot
You
mid-hand.
just have to sit there and wait for.
Jalen,
That takes too much time.
It's
you'll
ridiculous.
never ever believe this, but at like 1:30 in the morning on a Tuesday night, the energy was a little low in there. Energy was a little low in
Horrible.
Cleveland. Energy was a little low.
When she brought the drinks and she was like, "That'd be $26," and all of us were like cash, like
Yeah.
what
Dollars?
Right.
Unbelievable.
I had every week I have to ask Jalen about this moment. This week there was one definitive I have to ask Jalen about this moment. Charles Barkley did an interview. And in that interview he said, you know what? Me and Michael Jordan, we're not really friends anymore because I criticized him on television and he felt a certain way about it and we don't really talk anymore.
I found myself doing this over the last 3 to 6 months publicly with Chris Webber.
Yeah.
The exact same thing. I love him. He's my brother. I think we'll see eye to eye one day. But right now we aren't seeing eye to eye. And there was a period of time where I was able to, I guess, not talk to him or not kick it with him. And I wasn't being asked about it, so nobody really knew. A lot of people don't realize the Fab Five has been in the same place at the same time once since 1994. One time. So it's not like I'm just letting out some family business that just happened last night. And that was at the Final Four. And 4 of us were sitting together. And 1 of us was sitting in the Obama suite. And so I respect Charles for coming out and saying the truth. And it's tough a lot of times.
But we knew this story for 3 years.
Yeah, it's not breaking news for us.
I had to explain to these guys before the podcast that it's like, oh, I thought everybody knew that. It's like,
We were
not
surprised.
everyone's paying such close attention to like the friendship between Charles Barkley and Michael Jordan.
You know,
what I mean?
I heard Barkley talking about it, and he was like, it stemmed from I was on TV once, and I talked about what a bad job he was doing with Charlotte. And I was thinking, like, this is an interesting conundrum, right? Because you're being paid to be totally honest, and you shoot from the hip. And we've been on television shows, national TV shows, and you see certain people try to protect people they're friends with, or teams they have relationships, things like that.
Or media members that at people when they say something positive, but
Yeah,
they say
yeah.
their name when
And
it's something negative.
It's funny because I took crap during the draft for when I did the James Young fist pump. And I'm like transparent, like I like the Celtics, but I think people would be shocked to know how many media members, whether it's print, TV, whatever, have people that they take care of in a variety of ways. So the fact that Charles didn't do that with Jordan and criticized him objectively and said, the guy's doing a terrible job running Charlotte. Now, if Jalen was running Charlotte and he did a terrible job and I was on TV, I don't think I'd be able to kill you. I honestly, I don't think I would. I don't think I would say that you're doing a bad job.
But there are ways to do it without making it personal.
And he kind of made it personal.
Because he was talking about how MJ had, quote unquote, yes men around him.
Which is true.
But that's personal.
It's kind of criticizing his character a little bit. You
Yes,
know what I
not
mean?
necessarily.
It's not the performance of his job. It's kind of the decisions that he's made, who he surrounds himself with.
I think
it's a
he
little
got
bit
carried
personal.
away. He was on the air once, and he was having fun with how bad MJ was doing.
2 in the morning.
And it wasn't like he was talking about his friend. And it's like, I think Jordan probably thought, you're my friend. Like, you're saying what a terrible job I did. This is
into microphones.
That's not what a friend does.
I also think just to one thing that is I take away, like, oh, Charles Barkley and MJ aren't friends, but even in the interview, in the statement, he said, here's what happened. I criticized him when he did a bad job, but he's done a much better job now. Like, even Charles in the interview was making the point that, like, that he's turned it around in Charlotte.
Okay, if you wrote, let's say you wrote 6 months of terrible fantasy reality columns. Mm-hmm. And somebody asked me in an interview, what do you think of Jacoby's job with the reality columns? I'd be like,
great.
He's been terrible. I don't know what he's doing. He's got all
I would be upset with you.
He's got Juliet around. Juliet's just saying how great he's doing. And
I would be
meanwhile,
upset
he's been
with you.
turning in crap. Like, you'd be like, what the hell? You're my friend.
For sure.
And I think that's what the Jordan thing was. And Jordan, as we know, is the most spiteful, vindictive, competitive. You get one shot with him, that's it. I think he cut him out.
And I love Charles. He's raw, uncut, unfiltered. That's what makes that show great. That's what makes him great on TV. And so I just applaud that he put it out there for all honesty, because as I hear through friends that me and Chris have mutually, those are some of the reasons that I guess he caused himself being upset at me, the Fab Five doc.
Yep.
I asked him to participate in the doc. I work for ESPN. I'm not going to pitch an idea to ESPN unless I have the true buy-in of all of the people that are involved. I wouldn't have never even brought that to the table. He committed to do it. They greenlit the project. Then he decided not to participate. And so we went on with it, and it ended up being a great piece. And the second thing I hear that he was upset with was when Tim Hardaway Jr., I promised him. And I didn't even want to deal with C-Webb at this time because I knew he was kind of feeling a certain way. But I promised him, if y'all make it to the Final Four, we'll all be there. We ain't all be in the same room since '94. And he didn't like that. So it is what it is.
Well, you and I, we spent a lot of time on the road the last 2 years, obviously, and we talk about this because we have C-Webb on the court, and it's awkward. Like, this guy, you grew up with him. I really think it's 85% that there's stuff that happened in his life 20 years ago that he just wants to be here now. And he sees you, and he sees Ray, and he sees Jimmy and these people, and he's like, I see those guys, and it takes me back to this place when I made this mistake and this mistake and this mistake. I just want to be here. And I think he's just willing to sacrifice the friendships.
And by the way,
I can't totally blame him on it either.
That's fine.
That's fine.
Like, friendships do have an expiration date in some cases, and maybe he feels like he outgrew it. And that's all positive. It is what it is.
I still think, though, if push came to shove, you would be there for him. And
I would, no doubt.
You guys have too much history.
Yeah,
your friends that you're friends with when you're like 10, like you never stop being friends
Exactly.
with people.
Exactly.
Let's all hug.
I did some investigative research. That's what we do here.
Charles said he's not
Jalen
friends with
Jacoby.
Tiger anymore either. Don't forget that part.
Well, that's like that's true.
I mean, since we going there, let's go there.
What'd he say?
He's not friends with Tiger Woods anymore. You like to elaborate?
I don't know about this.
Well, I think that those are just lifestyles.
I don't even know what that means, but I love it.
I think he basically said that Tiger wasn't social. He didn't want to kick it. All he was doing was focused on passing Jack's record.
I think Charles and MJ took Tiger under their wing because he was a great golfer. But I also think they probably made fun of him a lot. Tiger's a nerd. They were like, watch Tiger. No, we got to teach Tiger how to act. No, you got to. And, now he's just a guy who plays golf. What do they have in common? Charles is terrible at golf.
But the thing
I
those
have an
two...
important question. at Thanksgiving around Tiger Woods' table,
5-year anniversary
will someone make the joke? Will someone make the joke?
Of course.
Too soon.
Really? Someone's got to. I think every Thanksgiving someone's got to make the joke.
Everybody has somebody in their life, or everyone needs somebody in their life that should provide reality stress relief. If you got people around you that can't say honestly what they think about situations, even crack on you about things, especially private, like you said, you wouldn't kill me or Jacoby and vice versa publicly, but you would say something privately.
Yeah.
And so I would hope he has people around him that give him some sort of reality check every now and then.
I think it'd be funny. I think it'd be a good bit.
There's 3 30 for 30s we can't do, probably, for a variety of reasons, and that's one of the 3. And it would get probably the biggest rating of all of them.
I just think
Just the
someone
Tiger
has to go
Thanksgiving
so
2009.
deep.
Yeah.
I want like a science breakdown.
Such
I
a
want
good
the
one.
logistics. I want someone to talk to me, like recreate courtroom recreations
Well, see,
of the
I actually
whole
think we know what happened,
thing.
though.
Let's not go. Let's not.
No.
Let's not.
I just think
Bill.
He took 2 Ambien to go to bed. His wife went through his phone. She freaked out, went up, got mad at him, was hitting, and he was like, I got to get out. Ran out of his house,
We don't
grabbed the
know that,
keys.
though.
This is my theory.
That's your theory, but you said I think
Got
we
in the
know what
car. I was like, I
happened.
gotta wait. She's hitting the car with a golf club. He's like, ah! Drives into the stone wall. I think that's what happened.
But the one thing those 2 gentlemen, Michael Jordan and Charles Barkley, have been able to do, Kobe Bryant, other athletes, that Tiger hasn't, is deal with adversity and come back and still be a champion. So I remember when Kobe was going to Colorado, flying dead again, coming back, dropping 40. Tiger hit some adversity. He ain't won a major since.
The difference with Tiger, you don't play golf for a year and a half. You have a surgically repaired knee. You're starting to hit an age where it becomes harder and harder to be consistent. And then on top of it, all this stuff's in your head. And he's never been the same. From a confidence standpoint, from physical standpoint, anything. He's just never been the same.
I think it's honestly just as much physical as it is mental. Like his knee is really messed up.
You push up your right knee.
Yeah, it's like his knee is really
But don't you
messed
think
up.
golfing, like Greg Norman lost the 96 Masters, that was it. He was done. And he probably physically had it for 5 more years.
But the good thing for Tiger is when I'm flipping through the channel and I'm watching golf, I see senior citizens out there. So he has some
There's one
time.
more run.
Yeah.
There's one more run. It's the shame of it is it's so much less interesting without him.
Yes.
And I was thinking in my head I was thinking who would the most fun golfer be to just
You're not
come
buying
up-
into Rory?
Just splat. No, just like who could save golf right now? What new face would come up? And I
Tiger
think-
Woods.
Well, but other than Tiger
Yeah.
Woods, the coolest thing would be somebody who had like a Williams sister type background. Somebody who grew up in like some inner city kid who grew up like in all the junior programs, came up and was just unlike any type of personality we've seen on a course. I would be so into that story.
I'm on the record. Tiger will pass Jack.
No,
I think so too. He's got so many more years of golfing.
No.
He will.
many
He
more.
only
The other
has
thing
to
with-
win 3 more
Yeah.
to tie him.
The other thing that would work is another John Daly. Just
It's
another
like-
guy who's got a
basically-
lot of talent, but it's
Right.
just like substance issues.
I think that you just need a big personality, someone who's interesting. I did some investigative journalism before this podcast. We talked
What?
We talked a lot last
You
week
did
about
some work?
We did some work. I talked a lot last week about Josh Shaw and the balcony incident at the Orsini, which we're all familiar with. I ride my bike by the Orsini every day on my way to work, and I said, you know what? I'm going to take some pictures of these balconies. I'm going to show them to Jalen and Bill, and we're going to talk about it a little bit. So apparently it was I don't know if this is the balcony, but this is a balcony at the apartment complex. And I believe it was from the 3rd floor.
So this is like the ghetto 48 hours right now?
This is better than that. Another angle. I mean, look at that. 2 angles. So Jalen, if I'm jumping, I think that's the 2nd floor. If I'm jumping from can you go back to the other one, Alex? If I'm jumping from the 3rd floor, am I going to break my ankles?
So when I look at that sober, I'm not doing it. If I have any intoxication whatsoever,
I'm out.
I think I can make it.
I believe I can fly. I was looking at it like I think you hang and drop.
It's a 50-50 proposition for
Hang
sure.
and drop. Hang and drop. I think you're going to be okay.
Do we know what he was running away from?
Nobody knows.
Nobody knows.
And
What are
it's
like
not-
the
and
top
so-
3 possibilities?
Maybe he was creeping. Maybe she was creeping.
Could it be a double creeping? Can you creep somebody who's also creeping you?
Who knows what was happening? Like maybe it was. I think they both reside there, so there's like so much about this that we don't know. And Jalen last week in the pod said, "Oh, we're going to find out. Oh, it's going to come out." I'm not so sure, Jalen. I'm not so sure. I'm not so sure it's going to come out.
In due time.
If you were the coach, would you cut him?
I would not.
For what reason?
I don't know. I'm asking.
Lying?
I like to ask Jalen questions.
It was more immature than anything.
Okay.
Because of the lie he came up with. That's what makes it juvenile.
I just think everyone in college should get a free pass because you're in
22.
college, you're an idiot.
Yes.
Thank God I wasn't being covered by TMZ in college.
Correct. Like I personally, of course, extreme cases you have to pay attention to them. But for the most part, when I evaluate a player, I really don't pay attention to their behavior in college.
If their behavior is the way at 28,
yes,
it's different than 20.
Yeah, because we all do dumb things in college.
Hell yeah.
I heard on the podcast that you claim I never listen to your podcast, and I've actually listened to a couple this summer.
Thank you.
You brought up the Jalen Kentucky story, which I thought was interesting.
Which
one?
The assistant.
Oh, yeah!
coach.
Somebody tweeted at us.
Somebody tweeted, and you didn't totally deny it.
Didn't totally deny it.
It was a really,
know what it
really
was?
passive, non-denial.
He got this look on his face. They're like, I don't want to talk about it, Jacoby look. You know
I
what
was
I mean?
actually looking at you like, how did you hear about it?
Someone tweeted it to us.
And you and I haven't talked about it either.
So go
but
ahead,
that's-
ask the question.
It sounded like there's some meat on the bone, is all I'm saying.
I love Coach Cal. Mm-hmm. Kentucky has a terrific program. I'm not going to leave my current opportunity for that job.
But was there a discussion?
Was there a discussion?
It was talked about.
Because, all right. Because A, I would have been obviously devastated to lose Jalen from the Grantland Empire, but B, all of a sudden I had a new favorite college basketball team.
We would have gone to Kentucky. We would have gone to Kentucky at least like 5 times this season.
House and apartment.
So I don't know where this line item came in the budget, but apparently you guys bought a 3-bedroom home in Lexington, Kentucky.
Why? And you put an edit bay in there?
Yeah, it's
It'll be just like Drake said that he had to do when LeBron and Manziel went to Cleveland. You guys would have had to come to Lexington.
So 20% of you still thinks you might coach at some point in your life?
Yes. If
30%?
If I'm not, here's the weird dynamic. My number one.
We're not talking about the celebrity game at the All-Star Weekend.
Yeah.
Just want you to know.
No.
that.
He was very serious.
Yeah, he was. A great sweater too.
My basketball goals.
I didn't know you had basketball goals.
I like
this. Is
this.
exciting.
This is good.
Minority ownership in the Detroit Pistons.
Ooh.
I would love for that to happen.
I think that should happen.
That's a goal and a dream of mine. GM and or president of a team. Right opportunity, right situation. I would love to be an architect of a team.
The only problem is you would just sign and trade for lefties. So the owner would have to know that going in.
And there's also a part of me, because I work with young people so much, and my high school is a 9 through 16 model, that I probably would want to get some gray hairs and actually coach college basketball. I was with Steve Fisher, Bill Frieder, Brian Dutcher last night. San Diego State.
Give me just some programs that you would consider, maybe one in your home state.
How about this?
This is getting really good.
I look at the USC program.
Oh.
As a diamond.
Oh.
The coach they have now that everybody likes, right?
They have a really good coach now, and I think.
So you're saying if that guy uses USC as a springboard to an even bigger program, and that job opened up?
If you
Something like that.
Consider.
If you are, if you're the athletic director at USC, just get at me. I will give you Jalen's phone number.
Something like that. A program that probably is overshadowed by its football team, but has a lot of potential.
The best
Bill,
program.
Season tickets. Jalen's the coach. We're getting
Whatever.
season tickets.
Gear.
No question.
The best program, and I think they just got a new coach, but I always thought Loyola Marymount was the rejuvenation project of all time.
I agree.
It's in the Gonzaga Conference. They have the Hank Gathers season as like
Isn't
the
it in
history.
Malibu?
It's in Marina Del Rey. It's an
Yeah,
awesome location.
Yeah. Oh God.
When we grew up in the East Coast, in my head, I always thought UCLA and USC were on the beach, and it was
Totally.
USC is in downtown LA. UCLA is in concrete Brentwood, Westwood, in the middle of nowhere, and yet Loyola Marymount is on the beach in Marina Del Rey. It's beautiful. I don't understand why they don't have a good basketball team.
That's a diamond.
Another diamond.
Yes, indeed.
So you're looking at the
History.
diamonds.
Yes.
Can I be an assistant coach? Video coordinator? Water boy.
We'll get you on the staff
something-
somehow. We'll get you on the payroll.
Come on,
I want to
man.
I want to be your legal booster where you say, look, we don't do the program that way, and here are the 6 recruits I'm looking at. Guys, I'm going to leave the room. Like, I don't know.
Bill's came in the room. He left this duffel bag here.
Right.
I don't know what
Bill came in
I don't
with
know.
a suitcase.
Yeah, is this his duffel bag? Should we unzip it? I guess so.
All right, so coaching, you're not ruling
Yes.
it out.
No.
Kentucky would have been really interesting.
Really interesting.
I would have never let you do it.
That's almost an NBA program in college.
I would have thrown my body in front of it. I would have cried.
You would have had some selfish reasons to do
Oh,
so,
totally.
though. Yeah, let's be honest. Let's be honest about it.
Got more work to do.
Yeah, of course.
Got some
This
Emmys
guy.
to get together.
Yeah, I never won an Emmy.
All right. Durant had a $265 million from Under Armour in his contract. Nike could match it.
Million.
Million.
you say million?
$265 million, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think $265 billion he would have taken. He'd given them checks. Nike had the opportunity to match it. They matched it. Why did they match it? Would you have gone with Under Armour if you're Kevin Durant?
Nike's printing money. That's why they matched it. They have
And they make
MVP
money
of the
from
league. And he was second in shoe sales behind LeBron James. And he's young.
I think they made, what, $100 million off his shoe last year?
Yes.
It was a popular shoe.
No
It's a good
brainer.
shoe.
to
Yeah,
match that.
Good performance.
Can I
then-
say something, though?
Absolutely.
After what happened to Grant Hill with Fila, it's amazing to me that any great player would not want to be at whatever the best shoe company is. And right now, I think we would all agree it's Nike. Under Armour, I know they have a ton of money. I don't know what their track record is with sneakers yet. Sneakers are, you don't want to, why mess around with sneakers? You know what I mean? Like, unless they were offering 7 times more money than Nike, I wouldn't leave Nike if I was Kevin Durant.
Yeah, your feet are your prized commodity for sure.
You can't, your feet, it's your whole structure. That affects your knees, your back, everything. You don't mess with
Adidas
that.
has come a long way to the point where now I actually like their basketball.
I like
yeah,
the
they might be in the
Derrick Rose
conversation.
shoes are good.
Yes.
Derrick Rose.
They've come a long way. Now, they're legitimate. So I would agree if you were ranking, you know, Nike's been doing it forever. They have the research. They have the track
I'm not saying
record.
Under Armour can't get there. I'm just saying I wouldn't want to be the test case for it, but you know what's amazing? Think about how much money that is compared to what he makes in the NBA.
Not only that, so he's now signed to
What
Rock
is it?
Nation.
10 times as much
It doesn't-
guaranteed
Oh,
as
yeah.
what he has?
Listen to this. He's now in the frozen yogurt business. Thunder forward Kevin Durant said Thursday that he signed a partnership deal with Orange Leaf Frozen Yogurt. Durant will own an undisclosed percentage of the company, his first such partnership since he joined Rock Nation Agency, founded by Jay-Z last year. Orange Leaf, based in Oklahoma City, has 321 stores in 40 states, 4 in Australia, and 69 under construction. What does Rock Nation and Jay-Z have to do with this?
Well, there are a lot of things happening with Durant around the league.
Talk to us.
Washington, D.C., they hired one of his guys.
Really? I would call it a wonky summer.
Yes,
Kevin Durant.
right.
Yeah, and Under
The
Armour
Knicks
in
hired one of
Baltimore.
his guys. Now he has a partnership with a company that's based in Oklahoma City, right? Mm-hmm. Now,
Good
one
buy.
of the reasons why Carmelo talked about not wanting to leave New York, besides there's another year and $35 million and Phil and Derek Fisher, was that he established business ties in New York and he didn't want to have to start
Yeah,
all
he's got
over.
a tech venture capitalist.
So it's an interesting melting pot what's happening around KD and what's going to be his decision in a couple of years.
Clairvoyant Bill? We don't have the hat, sorry.
I had bad vibe from his summer.
There's a lot of weird stuff like brunch with Biebs. He's
Just tiny little signs.
at
that I haven't
Drake's
liked.
house betting $30,000 against the game. Did you see that video? The weird stuff, you know? It didn't seem like he was in the gym
I gotta say, like,
shooting.
Let's say they don't do well this year. Let's say they underachieve, or let's say they get upset in round 2 or whatever. Like, everybody's talking about 2016 with him. Why wouldn't it be sooner than that? Why wouldn't it be a Kevin Love type situation where
They traded. They traded.
I feel like there's a lot of
Harden.
pressure on that team.
It is.
I talked about it on my podcast with Zach. I don't think you and I have talked about it, and we've talked about it just privately, but I was amazed that they didn't try to get one more piece.
Me too.
Like, you can't come out of the summer and be like, guys, we got Anthony Morrow.
Yeah.
Like Anthony Morrow, you need a fifth guy in crunch time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What are you guys doing? And there were guys. Like, they were really good $7 to $10 million free agents. They had trade pieces. They had the 2 first-round picks, which, unless McGarry, I'm missing something. That's the other guy's not even going to be in the D-League. Hustis. And then Anthony Morrow is their big haul. Like, there's good guys out there. Bledsoe's out there right now.
I agree.
What is going to happen with Bledsoe? He's just going to end up in Phoenix?
Agent negligence.
Well, okay. You put my feet to the fire right now. Okay.
But Jalen knows stuff.
Jalen knows stuff.
Okay.
Always knows stuff.
Buckle up.
Let me clear my throat. So, it's going to be interesting to see how the Cavs season plays out. We know that they have championship expectations.
Interesting. He goes with the Cavs right away in an Eric Bledsoe question.
I love this.
Eric Bledsoe has not signed long-term with the Phoenix Suns. Kyrie Irving is signed long-term with the Cleveland Cavaliers.
Okay.
Rich Paul represents LeBron James and Eric Bledsoe.
And Tristan Thompson.
Don't be surprised if that starts to be discussed, especially if goals aren't met this year.
So are you saying an Irving for Bledsoe trade?
No, the Phoenix would have to throw in more than Bledsoe.
It has logic.
Okay. You know, the Rich Paul thing is interesting.
But so let's talk about the differences in their game. Kyrie is a 2010 point guard in waiting. He plays pick and roll well. He handles the basketball, one of the top young guards in the league.
I don't think he ever gets to 10 assists.
Not with LeBron.
I don't think he gets to 7.
Not with LeBron. Because LeBron going to be getting 6 or 7 a game. So, who's going to defend the other team's top point guards? It can't be LeBron James.
Not Kyrie Irving.
And it's probably not going to be Kyrie. That's why it's important for him to play in world basketball and show that he can defend. Eric Bledsoe, terrific defender.
Problem with Eric Bledsoe? How many healthy 35-minute-a-game seasons has he played in his career?
0.
And 2 meniscus, and they did the quickie meniscus surgery last year. They should have just got him out for the season. Fixed it correctly.
Kyrie has had some injury issues also.
Been up and down, too.
So, again, that's just kind of like we said about OKC. If goals aren't met, this is professional sports. You're going to talk about change. And so,
All right, you got
how it plays out.
like OKC right now. You got Minnesota's rebuilding, right? They have Pekovic. They have Georgie Dang, who's looked good in the World Cup, who looked good at the end of last year, who's their center. Pekovic makes like $12 million a year or something like that. They have the Perkins expiring. They had those 2 first-round picks. I don't think they had the same value they did, but that's the type of guy they should be thinking about. Like, who can be the 5th piece on our team? Their whole model this year should be, we have to win the title this year. Or Durant, now we're really playing with fire with Durant. You know, and I don't think those guys have ever been the same since that Harden trade for staying in Oklahoma City.
They haven't.
Because you think about it, like, it'd be like, hey, I'm going to re-sign you for a huge deal, and I'm going to re-sign this guy, and you do it under the expectation, oh, Jalen's going to be here, right, for the next week? Yeah, Jalen, and then you sign, and then I trade Jalen. It's like, what the hell? We had an agreement. I wouldn't have signed it if I knew you were going to trade James Harden. And that's a real thing. I don't think people understand, like, what a big deal that is. Because I think those guys feel betrayed, him and Westbrook. Do you agree?
And they're both terrific players in their prime. You can't waste these years. Like, if they'd had Harden, I know we talked about it.
Been through this.
Right. But it's a fact because they're all young. You had 3 young Olympians on
But they
your roster.
wasted last year, too. They had Fisher in crunch time in the biggest game. Now, this year, they're trying out Anthony Morrow.
It ain't not going to work.
Aflalo was out there. Like, Thad Young went for 1 draft pick. Like, there's guys out there that are going for not a ton of money.
So now that we have the advantage of having a contract trade machine psycho here on Jalen and Jacoby, when he says something like a potential Bledsoe for Kyrie thing, based on the
Bledsoe in parts. Irving's worth $1, and Bledsoe's
does
probably
it
worth
pass
60
the sniff
cents.
test? Is something that could happen.
Phoenix has extra assets. So if you're Cleveland, you're saying, like, you flip Bledsoe for Irving, but you're getting other assets that then we can use for other trades. And that would be the appeal.
Could that
They need
happen?
to win now. LeBron hits 40,000 miles this year.
Could it happen?
The problem is if he accepts that qualifying offer, which I think he's going to, and you're Eric Bledsoe, do you really want to accept the qualifying offer?
I think
You have 2 knee surgeries already? I want to get paid right now.
I think he and Greg Monroe with the Pistons, for the most part, won't have a choice but to sign the qualifying offers or not play this year.
But Greg Monroe's never been hurt. Bledsoe said 2 knee surgeries.
Yeah, but
It's a big risk to be like, all right, $6.4 million, and then I hope I don't get hurt. I'd be afraid to do that.
if I'm Bledsoe, I'm rolling those dice. I'm doing the Joe Flacco. I'm gonna play this.
Well, especially after seeing the money.
Yes, I'm gonna play this out.
When Chandler Parsons again,
Yeah,
Everybody
64
else is
I
getting-
want to be
yeah,
a free
yeah.
agent.
for $48 million. whatever he
Lance.
got.
So Jalen says all kinds of crazy things on our podcast. And
Can we ask Jalen quickly if you think there's any chance Charlotte would trade for Rondo and put him with Lance?
They should not do that.
Should not do that. Why?
No. I think that would be a combustible situation.
to say the least.
Okay. Because of Connect 4?
But also, just the dynamics of their game. Rondo is a have the ball in his hand for 20-second guard, and Lance like to have the ball in his hands too. Neither one of them are spot-up players.
Okay.
So I just think the geometry of that doesn't go well together.
What's your ideal Rondo? Because they're trading him before February.
I wouldn't mind seeing him playing with the Pistons.
Oh. What would you like to offer? What do you have?
You said you wanted to be a GM.
Right. I mean,
Brandon Jennings.
what would you like?
what would you like? You have the all-star point guard.
I don't want Brandon Jennings.
What
Drummond.
do you want?
You're not trading me
You're
Drummond.
not trading Drummond.
Not
You'll
Drummond.
give me your lottery
You're gonna
pick.
get like Monroe and Jennings.
Monroe and a lottery pick is the start of something. It's the start of a conversation.
There you go.
I was saying to Zach, I think if they traded for Rondo, you tell Jennings, like, we'll buy you out. You get $16 million for 2 years. Here's 10. Go away.
I would love to see Rondo in the Pistons uniform.
Rondo and Josh. Josh put on weight, which I don't like.
He
There's
said
a
that
big story about Josh putting on muscle. to play power
well,
forward.
yeah.
I
So
don't want
no,
that
so
kind
he
of
can
muscle.
play in the post. He's like, I'm
Right.
going down this year.
Yeah.
This is my year. We're going
Josh,
down. We're going
you've
down
been in the
low.
league for 11 years. You
Yeah,
got a low post
Also,
player.
putting on weight wasn't what's going to get
Yeah.
you there. You know what I mean? It's like,
What player has put on weight in like the 11th year of their career and it's been a good idea?
I remember I got traded to Indiana. That's what Larry Brown told me. I knew he was trying to get me out of the league.
you know,
All roads lead to Larry
I
Brown.
think-
you need to put on 25 pounds so you can get down low and bang. I'm like, you know what?
I think Josh Smith might officially be a stretch mark 4.
Stretch mark for it.
Yeah, I think he might be a stretch mark 4, like a big baby Davis type stretch mark 4. Anthony
Did
Bennett.
you just create that?
That's been going around for a while.
That's stretch mark 4.
You,
Nice.
you clearly
Y'all
don't listen to
the
our pod.
podcast. Yeah.
I never heard stretch mark 4.
Yeah, it's
I
out
do
there.
listen
We've
to
been
the pod.
saying that for 6
I don't
months.
listen to my own pod.
It's all right, man. It's fine.
I heard the Kentucky thing.
Jacoby created it and I stole it.
Yeah, but you guys can have it now. Stretch mark 4.
like it.
I like it too. Josh Smith, welcome to the
Really
club.
good.
Welcome to the club, Josh Smith. Spurs and Clippers, both after Ray Allen. Jalen has already said he let slip that Ray Allen is going to sign with the Cavs on this podcast. Anything changing in your mind?
Where's LeBron?
In Cleveland.
I'm going to play with that guy.
Okay, that's fair.
And so let me tell you an undercurrent that's going to happen once the season starts. It's not happening right now, but it's going to happen when the season starts. You know, Wade just had his wedding, a terrific wedding. Big shout out to him and Gabrielle.
Shout out to you, Dwayne Wade.
LeBron was there. Of course, they're
I
brothers.
thought LeBron
I
wasn't
thought
there.
he wasn't there.
LeBron was there.
Controversial.
I don't think LeBron was there.
LeBron was there.
What is happening?
Was Jalen there?
What is
not there.
happening?
LeBron was there.
There was news stories about him not being there. Are you sure you're not
They don't,
mistaken?
they don't know what they're talking about.
The thing is, LeBron's lost so much weight, nobody recognized him. They thought it was Greg Oden.
And so right now everything is we family, we brothers, and they're going to be that.
Mm-hmm.
But when it's time for training camp and Pat Riley comes down to the locker room and he and Eric Spoelstra talking about the projections of the season and they got 15 guys in that locker room, you know what they're going to say? LeBron James been poaching our roster. James Jones, gone. Ray Allen, gone.
Is Ray Allen going to Cleveland?
That's what he said. He said
Mike
he
Miller
said
was
our
there.
pod. On our pod, he was like, Ray Allen's going to Cleveland. He's like, oh, oops.
Mike Miller leaves for a year, wins a championship with Miami, goes to Memphis. Now he's in Cleveland. There's only 15 people on the roster.
That's it. So if you take 3, that's 20%.
Okay, that's going to make it personal. And players like Udonis Haslem, like Mario Chalmers, watch those be the instigators on Christmas Day.
He took the best bouncer from Liv.
Pitbull sitting courtside in Cleveland. Gloria Estefan has a suite at the Quicken Arena.
Levitard.
So, did you just slipped Jalen just predicted a confrontation on Christmas.
I love it.
I like it. I like it.
It has to happen.
What do you mean it has to happen?
Because of the reasons I just told you. This is a competitive space. The Miami Heat still want to be a great team.
Good luck.
Right? So
I don't think they make the playoffs.
That'll be a 7th seed.
So how do you think it works when you go from being one of the top teams that just made it 4 straight years to the NBA Finals, now you play against this guy and you're a 500 team?
Oh, I'm a 7th seed.
Right? So, but that's good theater. That's what the sport is all about. It's...
assuming Wade's even healthy on Christmas.
Yeah, it's...
What they're asking for Wade this year is something I'm not sure he can.
Are they asking that of him? Like, don't they know
need
who
him
he
to play
is
90
by now?
games.
Like,
You want to be a 20-point scorer?
They need to play 90 games and create in crunch time. We were there, Miami, Indiana, when Paul George guarded him the game LeBron
I
got
think
in
he
foul
still
trouble
takes
and
games
he couldn't
off.
get near the rim.
Paul George ripped him at least once a
Paul
game.
George annihilated him in that
Literally.
game. And that told me that Dwayne Wade might not be that guy anymore. Or it could have just been a bad game.
But here's a but. The Spurs have $5 million to offer Ray Allen. That's.
Can I make a prediction? I don't see Ray Allen living in Cleveland.
Huh. He likes Miami.
I think he ends up in the Clippers.
A little Doc Rivers.
He said recently
on the
that he
Clippers.
wanted to be familiar with the coaching.
I have no inside info. It's just if I had to bet,
Clairvoyant Bill.
I don't see him on Cleveland. I just don't see it.
Okay.
I think he's going to look at the landscape and be like, Kyrie Irving, Deion Waiters, Kevin Love.
So, football players
some
do
weird
this.
coach I've never heard of.
Do basketball players do this? Just kind of like stay back through preseason and then don't sign to a team early on, and then miss the preseason, miss
couldn't
training
Ray do
camp?
that? Just show up in February?
That's what he's going to do.
That's what he does, right? Like, yeah.
Absolutely. Not you take what this is going to be his 18th year.
Yeah, he'll wait till February.
You drag those, you can get 3 more out of that.
You know who did that? P.J. Brown.
He did. I remember with
The last
Celtics.
year. He just kind of waited, then he showed up.
Sam Cassell did that with you guys too, right?
Yeah, but I'm fine with that. Ray, you need Ray for 4 months.
You
He'll
know what
do
you're
his
getting.
weird OCD thing.
You know what you're getting. Terrific shooter, stays in.
That was Jalen's dream gig. That's what he wanted with Phoenix.
He
from
wanted it
2007
with
to
Memphis in
2010.
2013.
Yeah. Spot up and let me shoot this 3. Like I'm Raja Bell.
He still wants that.
Like I'm Quentin
If
Richardson.
you got a phone call
I'm
from a team and was just
Joe
like,
Johnson.
no, we're thinking about having you down just for camp, you would do it.
I gotta get my
do
knee.
it. You would
not
do
with,
it.
Not with my right knee. I gotta go to Germany.
Too much concrete.
Is your right knee is your push-up. You're lefty, so it's not. But you have to keep healthy this weekend because you have to prepare for the Jalen Rose Leadership Academy golf event.
Thank you, guys.
This
for your
Monday,
support.
going down in Detroit. I will be there.
Thank you.
I will be
Thank you for
supporting.
supporting the
I will
team.
donate at least
I-
$10, $15.
I'm not going to be there because football and I have this USOC commitment, but I have an announcement to make. I'm sponsoring 2 kids this year.
What? It's on wax now. It's recorded now.
Thank
2
you,
children.
buddy. Thank you, brother. Appreciate that.
I'm
children.
on the board.
It really means a
Wow.
lot. And so for those that don't know what sponsoring a student means, Detroit Public Schools gives $7,100 per student. Birmingham and or West Bloomfield, for example, give $13,000 per student. How do you bridge the educational gap? Finance. So if we getting that $7,100 and you're $2,500, we feel like we can educate that same kid for $10,000 to compete with that student, or the student whose parents are fortunate enough to pay $30,000 a year for them to go to the school. I'm one of those parents.
What if I was a listener and I wanted to support?
Oh.
What would
it's
I
interesting
do?
because
What would I do?
if you Googled JRLA and you went to the website, and there's actually a link on the top, and it says
No.
support.
No way.
Click on support. And by the way, this podcast has been free for how long?
Long time.
Shouldn't people chip
Yeah,
in
support.
a tiny
People
bit?
support, but listener
Good
support
cause.
JRLA. And you know what?
Thank you.
And it's
guys.
actually a very well done school. It's not one of those schools that's going to end up on like some Real Sports E60 investigation in
Not at all.
2022.
I don't know who you could be talking about primetime. Okay, moving on.
Not at all.
You do things the right way.
We
you hire
do.
the right people.
Yes, we have a terrific management company in American Promise School.
And Jalen's like secretly crazy about budgets.
No, another thing is often before the podcast, he's walking the hall with his phone. He's like, no, the uniform is the uniform. We're
Yeah.
not changing it.
I'm
He's
not
like,
going higher
he
than
didn't get-
$22.
He didn't get picked up from school until when? Okay? Give me his mother's phone number right now. It's just like Jalen. It's like in people's lives, man.
The best thing about Jalen though is that he's like that with his school, but if he's at Prime 112, they'll be like, nah, you can only get the 4-pound plastic for winner. Jalen's like, done. Like a side of fries.
Exactly. No negotiation there. Yeah. And we're excited because I think the event continues to get better. We're going to have Spencer Haywood there, Dave Bing, Dennis Archer Sr. and Jr. will be there. Avery Johnson is going to be there.
Can you do me a
Yes.
favor?
Trey Burke, Stan Van Gundy.
Nice.
Yes.
Can you not have this event on the Monday morning after football season starts? Can't there be a different weekend?
You sponsor enough kids, it'll be in your backyard.
No.
Correct.
Can't it just be like August 24th?
Well, normally we
Why
try
does
to
it have to? Oh, because that has to be when school starts?
we try to stagger it around the beginning of school so we can have students also participate. So we're going to have students there. You know, we're going to have some kids doing spoken word. Our cheerleaders are going to be there. We're going to have some greeters. We're actually going to have some leaders in our school actually talk about the mission and what they learned at JRLA and why it means so much to them. So it's easier to make that happen when school's in.
Could you do it on a Friday instead of a Monday?
And also, you got to reserve the golf course a year in advance almost. Like Detroit golf course is really popular in the city.
I'm going to talk into Friday next year. Monday after football is really tough.
It is. And afterwards, we're going to the Lions game.
Oh, yeah.
And
Giants plus 6.
Monday Night Football. I'm so excited about
Thanks,
it.
big fella, for the tickets. We'll be there to represent. Appreciate you, big fella.
I'll be there. You know what? I'm going to be a
I
Lions
was mad
fan.
about that. 'Cause we did the Grantland story on him earlier, and he gave them more access. Now I'm against Sue. Sue likes ESPN.com more than us.
You got to holler at your boy.
Yeah, you're going to know who to go through. Russell Westbrook got engaged. And this is what I want to talk to you
Congratulations.
about. Got engaged to his college sweetheart from UCLA here in
I
Los
love
Angeles.
Russell Westbrook. I've been defending him in his game since
He's
he
needed
walked
it
across
at
the
times.
stage.
He's needed it at times. Now, he got engaged to his college sweetheart, and I've seen a phenomenon
Awesome.
of a lot of athletes. They end up getting engaged and married to their high school or college sweetheart. Now, I have my own thoughts about why that is, but I wanted to ask you.
It's the equivalent of now players being able to play in their hometown. That's why we're speculating, is Kevin Durant going back to D.C.? LeBron James going back to the Cavs? You know, Derrick Rose playing in Chicago. Athletes now understand that you can't trust everybody. You know, with social media, with people coming at you for your money, people coming at you for the fame. Nowadays, you can get with a celebrity, an athlete, or an entertainer, and because you guys are dating, all of a sudden you're a socialite. And you're on the media websites, you're on the blogs, you're doing appearances. And so to have that person that's been in your life since day one, that you trust, that's genuine, that you can truly pillow talk with, and it's not going to be on Instagram, that's invaluable.
Good for him. Congratulations, Mr. Westbrook.
I'm against anyone marrying their college girlfriend.
Really?
That's one of my rules in life. Don't marry don't marry who you dated in high school and college. You're going to change from 21 to 27. You're not going to be the same person. Did you change when you were 21 from 27?
But also,
You change as a person.
You do.
How do you know what you're going to be like when you're 27? You don't. You better really like that person.
this is how I know they're going to work.
I'm not saying I don't know it. I'm just.
Of course.
It's one of my rules.
No,
Keep dating after
It's one of your
college.
pieces of advice. It's
Just
not,
keep
it's not
dating.
a hard, yeah.
No harm in dating. I'm a
this,
child of divorce, though.
okay. And so I like the fact when they sent out a picture with her wearing the ring, it was him being silly with the hat, biting
Yeah,
her
yeah.
finger. It wasn't like, oh, look at this ring.
Posed at the beach,
Like,
you know.
like personally,
You mean like some other people who might have gotten engaged to NBA players?
it is what it is.
Put out pictures with the ring like that?
I don't even know what you're talking about.
Okay.
It is what it is. But what has happened is, and you guys are married, and you can correct me if I'm wrong or if I steer down the wrong street.
I'm married. I totally forgot.
I just don't like when I think the ring or the social, I guess, bragging publicly becomes more seemingly than the actual relationship. It seems like, hey, look at this 10-carat ring. Like, what about I got a shoestring around my hand and we just got engaged?
Yeah.
Where is that? Is that a societal thing? The dating naked and who wants to marry a millionaire? And
Great programs.
I call this the Kardashian era.
Another great program.
Is that the reason?
It's
It's
kind
a
of the
lot.
era we live in.
It's a lot. I
People
think
share a lot of their lives.
I think it's the philosophy. There's a term out there on the internet. It's called "pick or it didn't happen," right? Like take a picture of it or it didn't happen. Like just the experience is enough. The fact that whatever it is, not just getting engaged. Oh, I had this thing happen in my life, but in order to validate it, I have to take a picture of it and share it with the world. You know, and put it on record. And I feel like that's how people feel. Like I bet when they got engaged, one of the first things that went through their head was like, all right, how are we going to put this on social media? Obviously, this isn't specific to Russell Westbrook. I'm just talking about people in general now. You know what I mean?
Louis C.K. has a good bit about when you're at a school play or something for your kid, and you look around and every parent's like this.
Yeah.
And it's like, you're at a fucking school play with your parent, or with your kid. Like,
Watch a kid.
how about this? Just watch the kid. What are you taping? You're never going to watch this again anyway. Enjoy yourself.
I don't
Your
go
kids
to,
out there. Why are you looking at it through this tiny screen?
I don't go to concerts because I don't like live music, but that's another thing for another time. But every time you go to one, the entire first 10 row, it's like, why are you recording this? It's like, first of all, it's probably like on TV somewhere, and second of all, like just watch it and enjoy it.
And that's where you have those that have taken social media and turned it into an entrepreneurial thing and jobs and careers and whatnot. And then you have those who really should be careful of allowing social media to dumb down their ability to communicate, their ability to write a sentence, their ability to enjoy the game when they're at the game.
I can't believe how much people Twitter when they watch games. There's no way you can tweet and watch the game at the same time that fast.
But also, don't tweet or Instagram things that you should be texting or emailing. Like,
If you have each other's number, like, you don't need to do
Yes.
this in a public forum.
correct. And so I just hope that people continue, as social media evolves, to use it as a tool to be smarter, more diligent, more have a better ability to communicate as opposed to the
Want to
opposite.
see my impersonation of Jalen after every NBA Countdown segment? Two, we'll be back after this.
What do people say? What do people say? Oh, they like that
I was
one.
telling that to look.
Yeah.
Like, what kind of reaction are you looking for?
It's more than that. Remember, we're on national TV.
You want to make sure there's nothing in your teeth?
No, you have agents, players, managers, coaches, organizational people actually trying to give you information sometime and or trying to correct you or trying to chastise you. Oh, why you go at my guy like that?
The only time I looked the whole season was when we did the Sterling show. The first one, when you went hard. I was so proud of Jalen.
That was a good Jalen moment.
I got Jalen fired up. I was
That
like
a good
Bundini
Jalen
Brown in
moment.
the green.
Yeah, in the background. Like,
Yes.
go
I got you
Jalen.
all
You
fired
did.
up.
You did. I was ready.
Because you were so mad about the team. I was like, go on the show and be like that.
Be mad.
Do it. Do it. Everyone's
I
behind
needed
you.
that. And ironically, I'm disappointed in the fact Shelley Sterling pulled the wool over the NBA's eyes.
Because she's still involved somehow?
Because I just saw a picture of them at the Bellagio the other day. Now, she's going to be the special fan and
When you say
ambassador.
them, you mean Donald and Shelley?
Correct.
She is. What's her official title? Like fan ambassador or something? It's
Yeah,
weird.
yeah, exactly. And,
They just
and
wanted that guy gone. They were so worried the players were going to boycott a game. They were going to
They
do
would
anything
have
it
to.
took.
but what about this, Bill? So I think it's emeritus to the owner, special #1 fan. She gets courtside seats. She gets 3 championship rings. And there's some sort of pool of money, I guess, that could be up to like $200 million. And so, did we really get rid of him? Is my question. If they're still going to be around.
I got another thing to bring up.
Don't get fired.
I
see that face. I see that face. Think about it.
I'm not 100% sold on Steve Ballmer.
What?
Yeah, I'm just going to come out and say it.
What?
Michigan native. I got to give him love.
But
Listen.
you have to follow that up with something.
Anybody's better than Sterling, right? So start.
Yeah, we're
so
headed in the right
anybody's better.
direction.
So we've already improved.
The worst overall record for the most part in any
anybody's
franchise
better.
in 30 years.
Anybody's better. The Bruce Lee poster would have been better.
Yeah.
But I'm a little worried. I did a big deep dive on him.
Season ticket holder.
I'm a season ticket holder. I think he's the good news would be if he's eccentric. The bad news would be if he's a weirdo. And he might be a weirdo. The thing with the season ticket holders, when he did the whole
He was
get them rallied thing,
enthusiastic. He was enthusiastic.
was it enthusiastic or was it weird? Like, go read online. There's a Vanity Fair article from 2 years ago about how his relationship with Microsoft fell apart. And you read that article, you're like, wow, this guy wasn't a good manager. Like, you own an NBA team, you have to be a good manager. I'm not saying he can't do it. I'm interested. I hope he does great. I just don't think it's a slam dunk. I don't think they went out and they got the most awesome owner ever. This guy's going to be incredible. We don't know. We don't know how good he's going to be.
I think that's why you pay Doc Rivers $50 million.
Look, put it this way. Right, and by the way, he got a little tiny piece of the team.
Of course.
Little tiny unreported piece of the team. But Paul Allen, brilliant billionaire, not a good Blazers owner for like 10 years. Remember how badly that team was run? He just threw money around, and it was a disaster. And I worry. I hope Ballmer isn't Paul Allen 2.0. I'm not saying he's going to be. I'm a little concerned.
But I think it's important. It's important to recognize your first point was
the Bruce Lee poster.
We're headed in the right direction. You know
it's
what I mean?
It's going to be great to have somebody who's not Donald Sterling.
Yes.
But you got a top 2 or 3 coach. You have an elite point guard. Blake Griffin is a superstar, becoming a superstar. Yep. He's not a superstar yet.
Clipper Darrell.
DeAndre Jordan is going to be a max caliber player next summer.
Contract year.
Based on the market.
Contract year.
So you have those guys.
JJ Redick.
You're in the mix.
I kind of like the Ekpe Udo under the radar side.
I like Ekpe Udo too.
It was so down. I was like reading my basketball sites. It was so low in the hierarchy.
Wow, that guy might play for them. I like that sign. But yeah, no.
Spencer Hawes.
Spencer Hawes.
I like Spencer Hawes.
Ballmer's going to be better than Sterling. But
yes.
I just think people should have their guards up a little bit about the Paul.
I'm going to throw this out there. I think if you got over a couple $1 billion, you're probably a weirdo. You know what I mean? Like, if you're a weirdo if you've got that much money. Like, just like internalizing that, thinking about that every day makes you weird.
And ironically, as a Michigan native and starting JRLA, you know, it's my goal to research all of the people that have Michigan ties, have seen Detroit on the map, have flown through Detroit Metropolitan Airport, graduated from a college in Michigan, been in Detroit, to try to find a way to influence.
Jalen will find you and ask you for money.
Exactly. It was refreshing to me and motivating to me how many owners have Michigan ties. You know, Stephen Ross with the Dolphins. Okay, you got Dick and Bessie DeVos with the Orlando Magic. Detroit Pistons, Tom and Holly Gores, Platinum Equity. Ballmer is also from Michigan, went to Detroit Country Day High School. So that's, to be such an exclusive club, and it's only 32 NFL teams and 30 NBA owners, I was just shocked how many had Michigan ties. So I will be reaching out to you.
I hope Steve Ballmer is a good owner.
I hope
But
so too.
he's got a lot of money and a lot of time, a lot of free time, and he's going to want to be super involved, and he clearly wants to be part of the show, and it's going to be interesting. I don't think it's a slam dunk. I hope he's good.
Did you take the pep rally and relate it to
weird.
Miami Heat-ish?
It was weird.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
It just didn't seem like I haven't seen an owner act like that, and I've been watching Mark Cuban for a long time. You know what I mean? Like I thought he would set the high bar in terms of like enthusiasm.
Cuban did run on the court during a fight.
But it was like, oh hey, I'm all for it. I like weirdos. All right, we've been doing something on the Jalen and Jacoby show for a long time. It's the hip hop bracket. Hundreds of thousands of votes. We started with 32 hip-hop groups. Now, explain very briefly, because the people listening have heard it before, why we're doing this.
It's just a celebration of hip-hop. That's it.
And there's no good groups anymore.
And we're bummed that most of our favorite groups happened in the 80s and the 90s. And the way the music industry has changed, it kind of push groups out of the way.
It's more crews or labels and individual artists that like are associated with each other, but they're no longer a traditional group. So we are now down to the championship matchup. But first, we have to go through the Final Four.
I know who's in the championship.
Let's take a look. Let's take a look at the results of the Final Four.
Pop the trunk, hit the deck.
All right, Tribe Called Quest and Outkast.
We got the Jazz.
They went up against each other. Let's look at the results. 66% Outkast. Now, Outkast started as a 2 seed, which means Outkast will represent.
Who was the 1 seed?
In the finals. The 1 seed that they beat, I believe, was. I don't remember.
Which one of those two bands has an entire documentary about them?
Tribe Called Quest.
Great job, America.
You also just called them bands. Let's go with the next matchup.
Ooh.
Wu-Tang Clan and NWA.
This is just.
Now I have called. I've called this tournament the whoever's going to end up second to Wu-Tang tournament.
NWA got this.
Let's look at the results. 65%, 35%. Wu-Tang. Forever.
Now, regardless of winner or loser, it should be closer than that.
That's a good point. I always knew that Wu-Tang would win this whole tournament, but I did expect it to be close to this. Which makes the finals Wu-Tang against Outkast. One thing I want to say is I wore this T-shirt today, the Purple Tape T-shirt.
Wow.
For Raekwon in support of Wu-Tang in the finals. And if you like the Purple Tape T-shirt, go to legendarystyles.com.
I'm West Coast for life. It's one of the reasons I moved here.
West Side?
Yeah, well, you know.
That's terrible.
NWA
had 3 different people who became their own things.
And also...
And Wu-Tang had 8.
But hold on.
They own huge things. Right. Dr. Dre just sold his company for $3 billion.
Dr. Dre is the #1 artist / influencer of hip-hop of all time.
Ever.
Of all time.
That was his first band.
Exactly.
And you voted against it.
This is the people's choice. We didn't vote. This is the people.
Ice Cube's been on 10 cop shows.
I don't know if that factors in. I don't know if that
Ice Cube's filming a cop show right now. Eazy-E.
As an executive and as an artist.
We're just celebrating the groups and we're allowing the people to voice.
I think the people
you know what I mean?
wrong.
Yeah, and we've had some contentious results over the course of this. Let's just get a sampling of Wu-Tang in the final.
Let's do that.
Let's just get a little sampling.
Let's do that.
This is the Triumph video.
This beat and the tempo of this record is so crazy. Just work out.
Those graphics are wild. Special effects have really improved since they filmed this video. On Bill and Jalen's hip-hop preview, NBA preview, we'll have better graphics than this.
We're doing that again, by the way. People keep asking me, like,
they love it.
Why would we do that?
I get the people what they want.
Give them what they want. Rank every team 33 #1 in this studio. As stupid as it could possibly be.
And rest in peace, ODB.
I think it's the anniversary of his death. I don't remember exactly when, but I think it was yesterday. The man more.
This is like voting the Dream Team as the best basketball team ever or something. Like an all-star team.
Exactly.
NWA was a band.
I like that you went back.
I do.
I like
it was a band.
They're a band.
This was like just a collection of dudes.
They're the best. Please. All right, let's take a quick listen to Outkast.
Big shout out Ghostface. I remember seeing Ghostface at the BET Awards, and I went up to him to give him some dap, and he had the big eagle on his arm.
I love it. I love the eagle.
Right?
Ghostface can wear anything. Ghostface can wear the Bruce Lee poster.
Shayla Ghost.
Can I ask you an honest question? How much of Wu-Tang Clan's success and notoriety and fame came from the fact that they picked such a great name?
You're talking to the wrong person.
No, was it 1%? Because
0%.
0%?
No,
It's one of the great names ever.
the
It
Wu-Tang
is.
Clan, and also it came.
If they had screwed up the name, would they have had the exact same career?
But it was the thesis that went throughout the music too, because they used all the kung fu sound effects. You
Right.
know what I mean? They're from the Shaolin
Fair
Island. Like
point.
it wasn't just the name Wu-Tang Clan. It was kind of like they picked a
movement.
like a full theme for their group.
Is that the greatest band name of all time?
Well, the Doobie Brothers
like how I
poster.
keep going
The Doobie Brothers poster
No,
is right there.
for the hip hop.
It's in the conversation.
What's in the conversation?
When you put a name in a silo that like Run DMC. Like when you hear that name, like DMC said, he said it was the worst, most terrible thing I've ever heard. But then when they start making records, it sounds deaf.
If you think about it, like A Tribe Called Quest is a dumb name. I'm just gonna throw it out there. Like I never really think about it. But it's like A Tribe Called Quest.
It's not great.
Like that's a dumb name for a hip hop group.
It's
I'm
kind
just
of
gonna say it.
growing on me, but it's
Yeah, but you just say it. It's like Jeopardy's a bad name for that game show. It's like, what's that have to do with Jeopardy?
But it's almost like it's the name Jalen, okay? People, it's become a common name now.
It's super
number one
common.
baby name in 1994.
Yeah. Right? It's a common name now. And it's more to do with the name than it is to do with me. Because I think it's a really good name.
Yeah.
But if people hated me and I was, you know, a psychopath or something, then they wouldn't name, I would assume, their kids Jalen. So the name does have an effect. And I love Tribe Called Quest.
It's a bad name. I also want to say that you are a psychopath.
For simplicity's sake, you gotta appreciate the dog pound. They were able to work multiple persons' names into the thing with the pound. It's good. Solid.
Gangstar, NWA. I mean,
NWA was good.
Let's get a taste of Outkast.
Yeah, let's do it.
Good name. Outkast. They're different. They're weird.
Strong name. Spelled it.
Spelled weird.
Yeah. I like the misspelling it.
and you know what? I'm going to tell you. You want Wu-Tang to win, right?
Yeah.
You playing the hits for Outkast.
Well, I made the decision. I
Yes.
was like, play elevators for Outkast.
You playing the 10 records for Outkast. I think you playing the 8 records for Wu-Tang.
That's
I
fine.
think you're giving Outkast an advantage.
Because it's gonna be such a blowout.
Is Rem got involved in this contest?
I think there was
Rem could
sent a
swing
tweet. I don't like to muddy the water. I want it to be a true.
Rem will muddy the waters.
I want it to be. Muddy
Outkast
Waters is
is
another
banned.
great musician. I want it to be a clean vote. I want the people to decide. And the next Jalen and Jacoby podcast, we're going to decide.
You know the one thing I want to acknowledge about these artists that we're talking about, and Outkast fits the bill, the longevity. And how, when Nas said hip-hop is dead, he meant the people in hip-hop that are making decisions, that are making records, now it's become mainstream, it's popular. That's what he meant. So now it's just about making a song. Artists from our era, they were more than just MCs. You mentioned what Ice Cube was going on to become. Will Smith, Ice-T, Queen Latifah. I mean, the list goes infinite of how they use rap music to springboard into movies, into TV, into brands. Like, look at Snoop. Like, Snoop's done movies. He got all types of business. I have some Snoop house shoes.
He got Josh Shaw, a lawyer.
He just got some uniform from Long Beach Poly, I think. You know, big shout out, Snoop Dogg.
I have a theory. It's controversial.
Don't get fired.
So you're
I
saying
need to
that,
go on Snoop's show.
which one?
I need to go on Snoop's show.
I didn't know he had a
He
show.
got like I seen Jimmy Kimmel on there.
Oh yeah, he just launched a podcast. Everyone's got a podcast now.
It's the thing. You said there are no bands anymore. All right, so all the people that grew up who would be musicians now, they grew up the 80s, the 90s, whatever, late 90s. Those are the bands they listen to, and they know all the stories of the bands. And all of those stories are you have multiple talented people in the same band, and they end up fighting
Hating
over
each other.
everything
Yeah.
and spin off into their own thing. And I wonder if the generation that was weaned on those bands said, well, I don't need a group. I'll just do my own thing because all these people spun off anyway,
You know what
and
it
that's
is?
why you don't have groups.
Less money. It's splitting the money 4 ways. There's less. The pool of money going into the music industry is shrunken
Kendrick
so
Lamar
much.
gets all the money for Kendrick Lamar.
Show money.
Yeah.
Schoolboy
Andre and
Q.
Outkast, like, he had to split that money around a little bit. And he'd probably, if he had to do it over again, he probably was like, man, I should have just done my own thing. I would have made twice as much money.
And there's a lot less money to split. I think that the pool is shrunken.
But also, there's something to be said for that team. You know, you're doing a lot of shows, you're performing, you have appearances, creatively to come up with a material. You know, don't underestimate what a group is. It's almost like a team, playing an individual sport versus a team sport.
It's a basketball team that has many more obstacles against it because you have ego. Your life changes as it goes along. All of a sudden, you're super famous. You can get any girl you want. You have money. You have all your friends coming after you. And then you have to go in the studio and create art. In basketball, you can shut out all that stuff and just go out and play. But in music, you have to get along with the guy. Like, if I hate you, I'll be like, all right, I'll see you in the studio at 2 o'clock. We're going to write a song. Like, but we hate each other. Like, what song? Right.
Yeah, what are we going to sing about?
The Tribe Called Quest guys, they couldn't even be in the same room with each other by the end of that.
You know what? I just want to say that's why this podcast has been so much fun, is the team.
Yeah.
It's been a good time. We have to wrap. We've already been going for like an hour and a half.
Can I say one more thing, though? Does Jalen know that there's going to be more characters for the Bill and Jalen NBA preview this year?
No.
Yeah, Clairvoyant Bill was such a success. We're spinning off a couple more characters.
That's all.
I'm not going to announce who they are yet. We're in the development process.
We're gonna
more characters.
We're also
phasing back Clairvoyant Bill a little, adding a couple.
I'm going to develop some new segments with Jalen that you don't know about, too.
Oh.
We'll have a surprise. I'm so excited for the NBA preview. Oh. It was so much fun last year. We're going to make it even better this year.
This party is over.
Thank you very much.
You see, every podcast we put on YouTube comes with this fancy graphic listing all the topics that your favorite Grantland podcasters are talking about. If you click the topics, you can skip around and choose your own podcast adventure. Subscribe to the Grantland Podcast channel to blaze your own trail on this sonic journey.